Year 1, and today's lecture is going to be the introductory part of the laboratory class. And being it the first, I would like to require you to your basic knowledge on this, on your A-level, O-levels, and so on, so that you can make use of it for the next class. So what we're going to do today is to look at the whole concept of the Year 1 laboratory and what you are expected to learn, and we'll lay more emphasis in today's lecture on safety. So we will look at the content of the course, and then the lecture will focus on the first three. So we'll talk about, we'll introduce the course, we'll talk about the aims, and then we'll talk about the laboratory sessions, attendance, attending the class or the lab session, and then how we organize the lab, and then laboratory safety, which is the main part of our discussion today. And then subsequently we will talk about lab record of the experiment itself, assessment of the report, and submission, and then finalities, plagiarism, marks, and then feedbacks at the end of the course. These are all the things you are expected to learn throughout the coursework. So the course will introduce you to the basic concept of chemistry, in particular physical chemistry and the chemical engineering, and then try and link what you learn in the class for the theoretical aspect of the course to the practical work you're going to do. So most of the work you will learn in the class will be done practically in the lab. So we're trying to give you some skills, data analysis, laboratory, taking notes in the lab, report writing. So it's not only for you to sit down and do the practical and go, but it will give you some kind of, skills such as, data processing and stuff like that. And also to reinforce your chemistry background, because as a chemical engineer, you need to have, some chemistry background. So we need to reinforce that. Also, time organization, management skill, particularly meeting deadlines. So it's not only for in the whole aspect of your life, you need to have time management, as part of your skills. So you are expected to learn this during the course. Also, we encourage you to think about experimental data and results and their significance and relevance. So lab session, we are expected to run 2 lab sessions, one in the first semester and the other one in the second semester. So the time for the course for the lab is always 3 hours, 2:15 to 5:15. Week 7, 9, and 11 in the first semester, which we are now, and then second semester we 1, 2, and 3. The most important thing is attendance. So attending the lab is compulsory. So you have to attend the lab, and you should complete all the 6 sessions you are expected. And the lab organization, clean all your glasswares, equipments and what have you at the end of the experiment. And the most important thing is that leave the laboratory in the condition which you found it. So don't mess up the lab. And so this is rule number 1 that you should take into consideration. And safety. This is very important because lab is something that has to do with risks. So you can't afford to take those risks like that. So there are laid down procedures in the lab, and you must abide by those procedures. So there is a safety handbook that each and every student must be given at the beginning of which I believe you have already gotten that. In case you miss it, you can get it on the Vision. There is electronic copy there. And you will be asked to sign an acceptance letter to say that you have read that safety handbook. So before you start the experiment, you have to sign that. that is, to say that you have done that. So even if you are, which I'm not expecting you not to, you must, sign to say it's an undertaking that you have done that. Because, so, we are going to talk about, what are the most important things in the lab, wearing your PPI, personal protection stuff appropriately, not just wearing, but appropriate wearing. You need to wear them appropriately. You need to wear your hand gloves, your goggles, your lab coat appropriately. You can see there, these guys, they wear their goggles, lab coats, and their hand gloves. This is what we call, the appropriate. And in the lab, you are not expected to change your clothes in the lab. There are sections provided for that, and you need to make use of that. Don't keep your stuff in the lab. You need to leave the lab clean, and you must make sure that it is always clean. You familiarize yourself with what is called scheme of work, where things that are corrosive, harmful, irritant, all the things that are of high risk are stated. So you need to familiarize yourself with that. And this is what is showing you how to wear your lab coat. There are 4 illustrations there. One is good and the other one is actually not good. So you should try to always be with the one that looks. Can you see these ones? So this looks the actual one that is right. And there are 2 pictures here. And one is appropriate, one is not appropriate. I don't know if you can spot the one that is appropriate and the one that is not appropriate. Both of them, they are working in the lab, and then one is actually appropriate and one is not appropriate.
The woman is not appropriate because the level of her eyes and what she is looking, she bent her cornea and she may not be able to see the exact level.
The 2 are, all the 2 are inappropriate. Good, thank you for that. Any comment about that? And why do you say that?
The first guy seems to be pouring water into chemical, which is very dangerous.
Oh,
it's
you're just making an assumption, actually. I don't think you know what he's doing, yeah?
He's not wearing any protective glasses.
That's good. That's one of the most inappropriate position there. He's nowhere, he's dealing with chemicals. We don't know what chemicals they are dealing with, but he's not wearing any glass. So he's, and the woman is actually doing the right thing. She's wearing hand gloves, lab coats, and her glass. So that's what we regard. We don't need to make assumptions that they are pouring water or whatever. We're just talking about working in the lab. So in this case, he dressed inappropriate.
But the woman's sleeve is rolled up.
Yeah.
It's not really a bit.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, but what I'm trying to show you here is this is very dangerous, and anything can happen to his eyes. Okay, and then other things can follow. Thank you very much.
Right, everybody, just write something down.
So how do you think that went, Muhammad?
I don't know.
I read lots of things here.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
I'll just give you a general thing.
All right.
As soon as the pictures came up, we engaged.